cannabis farming, including a county in California piloting a project to keep pot off the black market.
Nearly 300 miles north of San Francisco, thick redwoods reach to the sky. In this land of giants, the buzz of sawmills and the splash of fishing nets once signaled a booming economy. Today, there's another industry in Humboldt County that is thriving and driving up demand for goods and services.
And your total will be $3,023.99 after tax.
From leaf trimming machines to water storage services and specialty soils, marijuana, or cannabis as it's also known, is big business in Humboldt County.
Humboldt County is the Napa of cannabis. It is by far and away the largest production zone of high-quality cannabis in the world.
And for the first time in nearly 50 years, it's coming out of the shadows through a bold new experiment that allows people to legally grow medical cannabis for profit.
I believe that instead of complaining about the smell of cannabis, the people of Humboldt County will realize that that's the smell of cultivating local prosperity.
Patrick Murphy is the co-owner of Emerald Family Farms, a collective of cannabis farmers.
We would like to create an industry that is both environmentally and economically sustainable. The first time I cultivated cannabis was when I was 16 years old, and I've been cultivating cannabis ever since.
Farmers like Murphy are now required to register with the county so they can get permits to legally grow medical cannabis, just as they would for other agricultural crops. Size limits applied depending on how the crop is grown and whether it's new or existing cultivation.
The limit for new cultivation is 10,000 square feet, or about a quarter of an acre. Existing operations, we've allowed all the way up to 1 acre in size if they can meet requirements.
Steve Lazar is a senior planner at the Planning and Building Department in Eureka. He helped write the county's new rules as a green rush has been taking off in the forested hills of Humboldt.
So here we're looking at a photograph from 2006. The photograph shows a forested area, but by 2015, this area is now host to 20 to 30 different cultivation operations. So here we can see evidence of greenhouse construction, water storage. One could easily estimate that there is over 10,000 cultivation sites in the county at this point.
People from all over the world are rushing to Humboldt to cultivate cannabis. But the lure of pot profits is straining local watersheds and threatening endangered salmon.
Marijuana cultivation is probably the biggest issue facing the recovery of our salmon and steelhead. We put $1 million into a watershed to restore fish there, and I go out on the site and I see $1 million in habitat damage.
Scott Bauer is a scientist with the California Department of Fish and Wildlife.
Typically on an enforcement activity, we see illegal road grading, bulldozers pushing dirt into streams. We see people diverting water, in fact, taking most of the water out of the stream to cultivate marijuana.
Bauer and his team not only fine growers for breaking environmental laws, they also give permits to legally take water from rivers and streams.
We would like every marijuana cultivator to get a permit from the department to divert water. We condition our permit to say, you can't have any water in the summertime. You need to take water in the wintertime and store it for use later.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you doing today?
Fantastic. The old back's hurting a little bit today.
Oh, man.
Cannabis has been legal to use in California for medical purposes since 1996.
It's got a great look, got a great smell.
Patients could also grow cannabis and supply it to dispensaries as long as they didn't profit from it. But all that will change in 2018. That's when California will begin issuing licenses for commercial medical cannabis activities. Until then, counties and cities are trying to regulate the cannabis industry at the local level.
Now we can call a spade a spade. Profit is part of being a farmer, whether you're growing cannabis or tomatoes.
Maybe so, but it's still illegal at the federal level to grow or sell cannabis.
Every cannabis cultivator lives in fear of law enforcement, having their children taken away from them, having financial ruin.
By late August, 2,300 people, most of them existing growers, came forward to register under Humboldt's new program.
When did that start? Just yesterday.
But according to the local sheriff, only a fraction of the county's pot ends up legally in the hands of patients.
I'd say 95% of the marijuana growing in Humboldt County, and possibly higher, is actually going to the black market.
Just going to set it on the table.
The sheriff's office conducts roughly 100 raids a year, targeting massive illegal marijuana grows.
What we have here is evidence that has been found in a marijuana grow that's been seized by the Humboldt County Sheriff's Office. These right here are processed marijuana in 1-pound bags. And we have the typical firearms that are seized in a marijuana grow. AK-47 assault weapons, M14 rifles. This is what they use to protect their marijuana.
The county is now trying to keep cannabis out of the black market with a new track and trace program that gives each farmer a set of stamps bearing codes that are unique to them. In this demo, a bag of processed cannabis is sealed with a stamp and verified online as it moves through the supply chain.
Okay, now we can also check the proof of origin with the mobile application.
For the first time, a patient at a California dispensary will be able to quickly check that a product was grown in Humboldt and be able to see its lab results. From farmers to dispensary owners, 15 people are taking part in this pilot program. But now that California has voted yes on the recreational use of pot, legalization could spell tough times ahead for farmers here in Humboldt County.
I believe that it'll be grown all over the West Coast, and I believe the price per pound is going to become so low that the industry is going to be driven out of Humboldt County.
The fear is that the people that were a part of this, that started this movement, will not have a place in the future. And it will only happen if we do not take part, if we do not stand up and make our voices heard as the heart and soul of the cannabis industry.
For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Shiraz Sadiq in Humboldt County, California.